year, and that's when myself and Eduardo was battling each other.
In 2014.
I believe so. I just remember that was a horrible show.
You know that we've talked a lot about this show, right? Because
hey,
Brazilian,
I know what I've said that
right?
for. I understand. And listen, you guys would love to have had that title. I understand, but my job was for him to have that title. But this is what we're here for, though, right?
Yeah.
You know, it's just like if you're a fight fan. You know, somebody gets, if you watch a UFC fight, oh, that should have been stopped right there. And then the next round, that guy gets knocked out.
Yeah.
Oh, he could have won the belt. This is what we're talking about bodybuilding. It's like, you know, this isn't Ronnie Coleman. It was a show where Eduardo could have won. And if he had won, I would have shook his hand. I love telling the story because I knew I was sick. Backstage, I was throwing up. I actually picked up a bug, or I don't know what it was, but I was really sick. But I still didn't think I was going to lose. Now, after prejudging, all my real people like Flex is close. Flex is close. It could go either way. You've got to come back to the night show.
Yeah. And
I don't know if Coach spoke about it, but we had to make a plan of action. So our goal was to just pull me down hard and trying to get all that fluid that I was, if you look at the prejudging, I was sweating. In fact, me and Eduardo watched the show. I haven't watched that show since that time. I watched it for the first time yesterday.
With him and
with both of us together.
Wow, that's nice.
But that's the relationship we have right now.
Yeah, of course.
We're you know, that show is coming up to 10 years in September,
and we're still talking about it.
And we're still talking, and still I get tagged in by every Instagram bodybuilding page. That's like, and they always use the worst photo of me, of course, and the best photo of Eduardo, and rightfully so. You know, and that's what I love about the Brazilian fans.
What Eduardo said on our podcast when he came here, that he felt that you came back to the finals like really confident.
That's the difference.
On the prejudging, you weren't that confident, I believe, maybe because you were feeling way sicker or you weren't at your best, but you came back like really confident. He said, like, probably somebody told him, listen, you have to have the winner attitude in the stage, right?
Exactly it. Yeah. I looked like a defeated athlete up on stage. Yeah. I was giving it away. The night show, what we done was we went back to the room, we dried out. All I remember was just eating a shit ton of fucking dry rice cakes, no water. And I started getting into my brain. It's like, and I started kind of chanting in my head. It's like, I'm the champ. I will not be beaten. I'm the champ. I will not be beaten. You are the champ. This is just an obstacle. We will do this in my head over and over and over again. So when I got to the show, I had that puffed up chest. Yeah. Not cocky, because I'm never cocky, but I also have an alter ego. I have an alter ego. That's Flex Lewis. And that guy I only bring out for the shows. I didn't have that prejudging. I had it for the night show. I had it, and that when you have that confidence, that swag, it's like, this is my show. This is my show. After I walk off the stage, I'm not that guy anymore. Yeah. You know, a lot of athletes, you know, names mentioned, they love to walk around with it.
Always like 24 hours.
Yeah. You know, but no names mentioned. But I am not that guy. Yeah. But on stage, that's my stage. I've earned this spot.
You have to be, right?
You've got to be. Yes. You've got to be. And going back to, and also mentioning Eduardo, he, I believe, torn his tricep before that. So he was battling his own issues going into that show. But what a beautiful story would that have been. Yeah. If Eduardo come back, broken through adversity to win the Olympia too. So there was so much riding on that for him. And I just remember also when I walked onto that stage at the night show, they were all shouting, "Death to you." Was it? I thought they were shouting, "CORREA, CORREA." But what's that chant you guys do in soccer, in football? Yeah. Death, kill, something.
Vai morrer.
Vai morrer.
In UFC, they go crazy with this one.
Okay. I was like, hey guys, that doesn't sound like they shouted in Correa's name. But I found out what that was after. I had my fans, he had his fans. Yeah. And at the end of the day, once the show was done, the first person I went to find was him. Yeah. And he had typical like Brazilian culture, which I love. He had all his people around him. They were all, you know, consoling him. And who had the biggest chin up high? Eduardo. Fucking champ, bro. He's a gentleman. Fucking class act.
Yeah, he's a class.
All the
class
people,
example,
class act. What a, like, I don't know how he's looked at in Brazil, but he should have all the roses and more.
Unfortunately,
incredible.
he doesn't has what he deserved because it was a different era with social media and everything. But we saw what everything he did in his career.
Yeah.
We put him in where he should.
I'll
be.
put him there.
Yeah,
I'll put him there because he pushed me hard.
Tough
competition.
I was going to ask you about this. What role did Eduardo have on your career? Just knowing you had like one of the most insane shredded guys in the whole lineup of the whole Olympia.
Jeez.
How hard were you pushing knowing that Eduardo was coming after you?
I can tell you a backstory about Eduardo.
Yeah, please.
Eduardo was one of my inspirations as a junior bodybuilder.
Really? Wow.
He won the Mr. Universe Junior when he was, so I used to again buy the magazines, and I used to look at the magazines, and I'd see Eduardo at 20 years old looking banana shredded. I was like, this guy is like 2 years older than me. So I had to train that hard. That